Hello, welcome to the video. In this one we're going to download and install version 6.01 of AxciScape and just go through a few settings so it's ready for work and linked up to your sort of work folders. If you already have AxciScape installed, you'll need to uninstall it in the Windows settings first. So I shall start by going to the AxciScape website, selecting download and clicking the button, and then I'm going to save it to my downloads folder. So I've got a copy of the MSI file into there, and you probably get this warning where it's unsure as to the sort of safety of the file. This is because AxciScape isn't registered with Windows, so you just need to hit these three buttons and say keep, and then you need to do it again. And now it's downloading the file, and then I'm going to click open. Go through all this. So AxciScape's now installed. You need to go to the desktop, find the icon, it should be somewhere on your desktop, double tap it to open it. And you should, unless you've had AxciScape installed before, you'll get this box coming up. If you've already had AxciScape installed, then this won't show because your work folder for AxciScape's already installed. But basically AxciScape needs a folder to keep its system files and where there's some resource files. And you're going to have two options here. You can either use the recommended folder, which is your default documents folder. Mine is actually the E drive, but yours might just say documents. Or you can select this and set up your own folder. So I'm going to select this one and click OK. And then it's telling me there's no key because it hasn't been registered. So everything's in demonstration mode, as it says at the top here. So let's just click the open demonstration file to check everything works. And we've got the map with some trees plotted. We can go into the list screen and see all the trees in a sort of Excel schedule-y fashion, and then you can individually look at trees for a bit more detail. So everything's fine there. So now we'll just do a few settings to link it to our sort of work folders, if you like. I'm going to go to the interface screen, and on the database tab you've got down the bottom there the default folder. So when you sort of click open a database or save a database, this is the directory it'll go to. So this would point to your main client folder. If I bring a example in, so you've got a folder containing your clients, and then each client folder contains a list of jobs. This is how I organize my work. So I'm just going to click this and set my path to the client folder, which is that one, and click OK. Now I'm going to the template and I'm going to set the path to the same folder, but I'm also going to put in a new folder, and I'll just call it templates. So I'm going to use that one. While I'm in here, I'm just going to grab the ID code so I can make a key for this. Once you've explored the program, tried it out in demonstration mode, and you want to actually start a subscription, you would email me the ID code on your particular system, and I would then send you by email the unlock code, which you would paste in here. So I've just pasted mine. So the key's been pasted in and it's unlocked the program. I'm going to come out of there. And now you need to just set up your first template. I assume you'll probably be using British Standard 5837. So we're going to use this demonstration file as our basis. If you've lost your demonstration file, you can just load it again. and we're going to take the template from this for our own use. So I'm going to go into here, template, save template. It's taken me straight to the templates folder because we told it to earlier in the setup. So I'm just going to give this a name. And then save it. So then if I clear AxciScape and open template, my template's in there ready for use. So if I hit the list screen, you've got the fields. You've got nothing in the database because we've only saved the template. So there's nothing in the map, there's nothing in the database, but the fields are all there and the map settings are all there. And it's important to do that rather than use the demo template as your basis, because with future AxciScape installations the demo will be overwritten. So if you started to modify your fields, for instance with the tree name, which is a list of tree names, you may well be adding trees to this, updating the field, updating a template, and if you're just using the demonstration one, then that will all be lost. So you must make a copy for your own use, and plus you'll have probably other templates. You might just want a cut down version for health and safety surveys or something. You may not need all these fields that are on the British Standard one. So I'll just quickly run through a typical sort of startup sequence for a new job. I'm just going to close AxciScape and restart it as if you know, you've started it afresh for a new job. So I've reopened AxciScape. It's warning me that I've only got 1 day of my subscription left because I only gave myself 1 day, which wasn't very nice. And this will be your startup. So you would say open template, open your BS template. I'm now going to install the map file. Your client should have given you a DWG, topographical survey, as a base. Sometimes they'll give you a proposed and you have to make do, or you may have to purchase an OS map online. But the DWG needs to be converted into a DXF file, which is a sort of standard between CAD systems, while the DWG was specifically by AutoCAD, even though it's used by everyone now. But AxciScape needs a DXF file. So I'm going to go to AutoCAD and look in my job folder, which is Dodgy Tree Services, Marsham Grange. There's my topo. I'm going to open it, and it's a pretty typical topographical survey. It's got a grid on there. If you've got a grid, it's always a good idea just to check that the map hasn't been scaled, because it should be 1:1. Make sure you're in model space, the model tab down in the bottom left corner. You don't want to be working in paper space. And I'm just going to draw a circle between 200 meters north and 220 meters north. So that radius should be 20. And it's showing us 20,000, which is correct. It's 20,000, which means the drawing's in millimeters. Which doesn't matter, the drawing can be in meters or millimeters. So then I'm going to save that as a DXF into the same folder. And you need to close it, because if it's open, AxciScape won't be able to use it. And then I'm going to go to Open DXF Map File, Dodgy Tree Services, Marsham Grange. There's my DXF, open. And it's asking me to save this as an AxciScape map file, which is a chopped down version of the DXF with just the bits we need left in. So I'm going to save that. And now it's just showing me the map file that's been converted. You've got the layers here. You can change colours if you wish, and then click exit, and the map's transferred to AxciScape. At this point I would personally save the database. Even though there's nothing in it, it is linked to the map. So I'll go save database, into Marsham Grange, and I'll just call it Marsham Grange TCP1. So we've got the map. There's nothing being plotted yet, so let's just plot a tree just to check it's all working nicely. I'm going to plot one here. You've got the main map menu. These are grayed out because I can't replot a tree and I can't copy a tree because there's nothing in there, so all I can do is add a new tree. And as long as your end snap or center snap are on, it will lock to points. So I'm going to lock it to the center of this tree, and it throws up the edit screen. You can adjust the size of this. So it's going to be a T. I'm going to get the next tag number 1. The topo said it's a cherry, so let's stick a cherry in. And semi-mature. 1 stem, 350 diameter. Category, let's call it B2. Height 7 meters. Ground height 1 meter. Spread 3 meters all round, so I'm going to hit that one and make south a little bit bigger. Of course you'll be measuring it on site, and you can add comments, etc. I'll be covering these sort of things in a different video, but let's just put some stuff, suckers around stem base. There you go. Recommendations. Remove ground suckers, and inspect the base. How about that? Okay, so if I go back to the map screen, it's plotted the tree. It's got the category color, the canopy, 3 meters, 3 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters south, and the RPA circle. You can also show a simple shadow arc. Just switch on your shadow setting, and it's drawn an old British standard arc based on the tree height, which sort of just gives you a rough idea of shadow movement for the day, sort of during the summer, late spring, early autumn, that sort of period. It just sort of says this is where the shadow is going to be. It's not saying all this is in shadow, it's just saying the shadow is going to move through this zone. And again, you know, once you're out on site, you've plotted a few trees, you can just save your database again. So while we're at it, just to sort of finish off this introduction video, I'm just going to plot a hedge. So I'm going to plot a new object, and I'm going to plot a hedge along this. They've given me the center line of a hedge, so I'm just going to pick that. So I'm going to click line and just plot along here. So AxciScape will work out the RPA and the canopy from this center line. Finished. Call that a hedge. I'm going to call it 1 as well. And I'll put a few things in it. Let's call it a hornbeam. I'm going to add that to the list because it's also got some beech in there. So it's hornbeam and beech hedge. And an average for the whole hedge, I'm just going to say 100 mil. You'd only pick 1 stem because you want British Standard to work out the RPR from that. You wouldn't count all the stems of a hedge and put that in, otherwise you're going to get a very big RPR. and category. When using group lines, you only require the north canopy measurement, as this is put around the whole hedge or group or whatever. So I'm just going to put in one, but I'm going to transfer it to the others, even though it won't be used. So I go back to the map, and there's our hedge with the center line as a dashed category color, and then you've got the canopy, which is 1 meter all the way around, and then the RPR. If we look at the RPR value, it's 1.2 because we're on 100 times 12, and you can check that using the measure tool from the center of the hedge to the canopy is 1 meter, and then 1.2 to the RPR, which goes all the way around. So that's the end of the video. I shall see you in the next one.